Howdy, folks. Welcome back to another edition of Pirate Sports Chat, and Happy New Year to everybody. It's now 2021. Thank goodness. 2020 was fun enough. Let's move on to a new year. This week we have men's and women's track and field, and joining us today is Katherine Ngo, AJ Biggins, Isaiah Galloway, and Charlotte Kraushaar. Thank you guys all for being a part of this today. We really appreciate it. Charlotte, let me start with you. I wanted to start with you because you compete in the heptathlon, which quite frankly, I can't even fathom doing 7 events in 2 days. That's just nuts in my brain. I grew up a baseball player, one sport, one thing at a time. So if you can, just kind of take us through what it's like doing this 2-day event. Like, how grueling is it? What's the focus? What's the most important thing you focus on? And also, not to toot your own horn, but you made it to the state meet last year, finished second in the state. That's awesome. So tell us a little bit about that experience as well.
Yeah, for the heptathlon, it's definitely, I'd say, the most mental event in track because I didn't always used to do the heptathlon. I started as a jumper, but I had to learn very quickly that it's really mental. If you get in your own head, if you start watching what everybody else is doing, putting a lot of pressure on yourself, it makes it just harder to get through. So that was the biggest part for me that I had to get over because I played softball for 9 years, and that too is mental. And so I just never got a handle on it until probably recently. But at the state meet, that kind of just, specifically the last race that we had, or the last event is the 800, that just kind of made everything surreal, like put everything kind of in perspective at that last event. It was like pouring rain. I remember Isaiah was there and he was just like under the tarp and everything. But yeah, it was pouring rain. I was cold, but my adrenaline was running. So I was just kind of like, I'm hot right now. And I was just in my shorts and stuff. And then I ran that race and I don't know. It was just a really I kind of changed my perspective both on the 800 and the heptathlon. And it made me actually really love doing it, which I don't really tell a lot of people, but I actually do love doing it. But yeah, it's all just mental because, it's the end of the day. You're tired. It's been 2 days and you're just exhausted mentally, emotionally, physically. And it's kind of just about who wants it most at the very last event. A lot of people tend to give up, but I really try not to.
Very cool. Yeah, I can tell the 3C2A doesn't do the heptathletes very many favors, putting the 800 as the last event of this whole thing. I know that's a crazy event to begin with if you're not doing 6 other things at the same time. So congratulations, and looking forward to seeing you again this year. Isaiah, you're my lone field of the track and field part of this sport, being a long jumper and triple jumper. You were with Charlotte last year. You had a little taste of the state meet. You got to enjoy that lovely weather up north. I know that was, I'm sure that was a good time as well. So take me through what goes through your mind when you're about to start doing a long jump or a triple jump. I see the athletes at the line. They're ready to do their thing. They're stepping off things. Tell me what's your process?
I'd say it's about keeping the same routine. In my head, I'm trying to recreate what I've done throughout the past weeks. So I want to get warmed up and keep my steps accurate so I don't scratch the board. But when it comes to the final jump, my mind is pretty much blank. At that point, I'm going off of just straight muscle memory and trying to rely on the training that I've done throughout the past year. Maybe the only thing that'd be going through my mind is trying to be explosive because at the end of the day, you're tired. So I usually do 6 events. And triple jump is one of the last ones that I do. So it's just trying to hold form to the board and keep your technique in check, basically.
Very cool. Now, take me through this since I've never done triple jump or long jump in my life. Do you start off trying to get a decent mark just to get on the board right off the bat, or do you just go for it every single time?
So for your first jump, you want to get a good placing on the board, and you want to you're definitely trying to jump far, but your second one is trying to say if you hit the board in a nice spot, you want to basically see what you can do after that. So if you miss the board the first time, you usually get like 3 jumps.
Yeah.
You're trying to correct for your second jump. Once you correct for your second jump, your third one's all out and everything you have left. So.
Very cool. Very cool. Awesome. AJ, buddy, I know you and I talked yesterday. You're going to be part of our 10-question panel in a couple of weeks. We talked about how you got started in track and field from beginning as a soccer kid growing up. And I really enjoyed that story, so I hope you can share with everybody again just how you fell in love with the sport of track and field, and tell us about, you mentioned an adrenaline rush in terms of getting ready for your events. Kind of take me through that process.
Yeah, so I played soccer my whole life, and then I played it all 4 years of high school. And then it wasn't until my senior year that I actually did track, because soccer was earlier in the year, so they wanted us to pick up another class for the last trimester, and I really didn't want to do that. So I just tried to find another sport, found track, and then like my first ever meet, like we got in the blocks, and like the ref said set, and like when he said set, it's like you get the craziest feeling in your chest. It's like time slows. It's like you're watching everyone go before you, and it's like only like a second after he says set. But for you, it feels like forever. And then like ever since then, I've just fell in love with track. Like it became like my new sport. I'm just chasing that feeling constantly.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, I know you mentioned you do a couple of different events. Is there one that stands out more that you're favorite of?
Out of the 1 and the 2, I definitely like the 2 the most. I don't know why. I feel like it's more my race.
Gotcha. Yeah, I know you mentioned yesterday in terms of the 100, there's little room for error, whereas at 200 you can kind of fix up maybe something that maybe you could overcome from a slow start or whatever. So that's cool. All right, Kat, your turn now. So tell me, you and I talked yesterday again, and one thing I've noticed, I'm done this for 15 years, and before that I was a sports writer for 15 years, covering track meets. They are freaking forever. Like they take all day long, and the one thing I loved about the sport is everyone just seems to be just like, it's like the tightest group I've ever seen. Like they're all together, they're all rooting for each other. I know most sports have that, but this seems like an exceptional tightness with this group. Can you explain that? Like how is it everyone just kind of gets along and the support for one another? I know you mentioned that a little bit yesterday in our interview. Kind of remind everybody about that.
I think it's just a level of respect and love for each other, because everyone does a different event, and I may not know what jumpers go through. I don't know what heptathletes go through, but there is a sense of level of respect that they're doing it. Same thing, vice versa for jumpers towards 400 runners and 800 runners as well. Obviously, I'm not saying that track only respects each other. I'm pretty sure all the other sports team members respect each other as well. It's just, I think personally, it's just that it's a different kind of love and a different kind of support that we get that makes us super close.
That's awesome. Yeah, like you see it. Like Isaiah, I'm sure you can comment on this too. You're at the triple jump. It's your third jump, and you start hearing claps. You start hearing your teammates going bananas for you. I wish our pole vaulters were here. I know they go through that same kind of experience. Do you feel that, Isaiah, when you're on the board ready to go?
Oh yeah. So I love it. Like I'll start a clap, and everybody starts clapping in the stands, and it gets really hype. Adrenaline just going through your body, and you just know that you're about to hit a big jump. And then when you do hit that big jump, everybody's around the jump pit and they're cheering for you. It's really nice. That's
awesome. That's awesome. Now, kind of a sidebar question. I'll give everyone like a 1 or 2 word answer on this. If you're not rooting for your teammates and it's hour 6 of this 8-hour track meet, what are you doing? Like, AJ, are you taking a nap? You doing homework? You're eating an apple? What are you doing?
I'm definitely trying to find some snacks, because parents usually end up bringing some, and it's definitely the best at the end of a meet.
Awesome. Charlotte, how about you? I know you're doing events all day long, but do you have any kind of breaks in between?
I was going to say, I'm in the middle of running back and forth across the field, like going to jab, going to high jump, going to hurdles, and then back to high jump and stuff. I don't know. I usually just like straight up lay down.
There you go. How about you, Isaiah?
I also don't have too much of a break because I'm also running back and forth. But I'd say that if I have a small break, if they decide not to do my 6th event, I usually am sleeping or eating like a bagel or something.
I love it. Kat, you're the last one. What's your go-to snack at the track meet?
My go-to snack used to be the gummies.
Yeah, all right. Gummies are good. I heard bagels earlier. That's You can't go wrong with sleeping and eating during a track meet. That's fantastic. So, last question for everybody, and we'll wrap it up. Track is such a global sport in terms of the Olympics, and there's famous athletes all over the place in track and field. So, if I gave you the opportunity to compete against any Olympian you can think of, any Olympic track star, and go up against them in your event, who would it be? And what event would it be? AJ, let's go with you. If you're a sprinter, you want Carl Lewis, you want Usain Bolt, who do you got?
I think it'd be cool to run against Christophe Lemaitre. He's from France, and I like to run the 200 against him. I think
there you go. Maybe sweep the leg right off the bat. Maybe get a little head start on him. Do what you got to do. All right, Charlotte, how about you? Any particular track people that you've looked up to over the years?
Yes, I've been watching so many different track athletes for such a long time, because I remember I started watching Daria Klishina, which she's a Russian long jumper, but I know it's like kind of controversial with the Russians right now in the Olympics. But two of my favorites, actually, that I watch all of their videos that they put up of their workouts and everything, is Ivana Spanovic, which she's I don't know, I think she's Serbian or something like that. I can't remember exactly, but she does long jump. I'd love to do long jump against her. I definitely lose by like a lot, but I don't care. Like, she's amazing. She's an absolute unit. And then Katarina Johnson-Thompson, she does the heptathlon for the UK, and I'd love to go up against her because we seem to have like similar body types, and but she's like so much stronger, and it's just crazy to me. Like, I don't know. They're both really cool.
Very, very nice. Isaiah, how about yourself?
If I had to compete with anybody, I'd like to compete with Will Clay. He's a really great explosive athlete. He's a triple jumper, and then he got the silver medal in the Olympics next to Christian Taylor. So he's a really good athlete. And then I just like his I follow him on Instagram. I just like watching his like training videos. He runs on this like little trampoline, and it's like really insane. I think he's a really great athlete.
Very cool, very cool. Catherine, how about yourself? Who'd be your go-to?
So I have a couple. I couldn't just pick one,
Yeah.
but there are like certain athletes for like certain different events. So for starters, obviously I can't forget about Cindy McLaughlin. She's not only like beautiful, but like super fast, and she does the 400 hurdles, but she also does a 4x4. And so whenever I watch her leg in the 4x4, I'm just like, her strides are perfect, her form is perfect, and I'm like, how? But there's also Ross. I don't know if you're familiar. I don't know how to pronounce her first name. I always have trouble. It's just Richards Ross. Like, I can never pronounce her first name, but like, she's also beauty and everything. And I'm just like, there's just so many talented women out there. It's hard to pick just one. And then even Allison Felix, like, I can't.
Mm-hmm.
But like, if I had to choose like the top, it would honestly be Sydney McLaughlin, just in the 4x4, just because I love the 4x4 more than the 400 itself. So it'll be her.
Very nice, very nice. I was lucky back in the I forget what year it was, 1990, 91, somewhere around there. I got to go to a UCI track meet. They had some kind of invitational going on, and Edwin Moses was running the 400 or 440 hurdles, and it was the most incredible thing, because it looked like he was going about 20%, and he was just blowing the doors off of everybody. He was 37 years old. Like, I don't know how he pulled that off. It was probably the smoothest running human being I've ever seen in my life. It was something I still remember to this day. It was incredible. So I always love talking track with people, mainly because I've never done it, and it's just something I have the highest respect for. So AJ, Charlotte, Isaiah, Katherine, thank you guys so much for being a part of this today. Fingers crossed we're back out there in the next couple of months. You guys have worked hard, and we deserve some normalcy, and we deserve to go out and do our sports. So thank you guys, everyone, and all the best to you guys this coming year.